This is your chance to invest in Mouse and get shares in our business. The campaign is now live, so don't miss out. Since 4,000 of you took a risk to invest.
Well, how are you doing, folks? Back in the normal studio. So straight away we have people in the chat. Let's have a look. So I've got hello to, let's see, here we go. Devon MACKEM. Yeah, Sheffield United lost. That was mad, wasn't it? Sheffield United have lost again. Can you believe that? Crazy. They've lost 3 on the bounce. So it just goes to show you, if we just kept going and getting 3 points, who knows it? Good afternoon, Tricia. Afternoon, CABBIE, and all my fellow Black Cats. Hope you get a win today and show other teams in the playoffs that Sunderland mean business. Packer Andrew, hello, how are you doing? Good to see you all. Douglas Warwick, good to see you. I'm guessing a drawing game, but hopefully the lads will pull out a late winner. Hello, Janet, how are you? Good to see you. Afternoon, Richie Renwick. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you, Maverick Loggins. Afternoon, Stuart. How are the lads? All right, Jerry, how are you doing? So, can you just give me a check that you can hear me okay today? So, we're back in the usual studio today. Good afternoon, Rooster. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kingfisher. Thank you. Please give CABBIE a subscribe and a like. Thank you very much.
Newcastle Eagles are away at Sheffield Hatters. It's the World Championship qualifiers in the snooker as well. A couple of our players in action. David Lilly from Washington will resume later on.
Sounds fine. That's spot on. Susie Forrester, good to see you. Son Until I Die, how you doing? How are you? Janet says, when we win today, we are 4 points off Sheffield. It's just absolutely nuts, isn't it? I told you, if we'd have just had a good run, who knows? But it's looking more and more likely these days now that it's going to be Leeds United and Burnley in the top 2. It looks like Sheffield United. I mean, there's something clearly wrong there. 3 defeats on the bounce. That ain't good, is it? Dreyfoot Boomer, good to see you, mate. Sounds good, CABBIE. Good morning from Atlanta, USA. Good to see you, Andrews. William Andrews, do you think we'll have a virtual reserve side today? Let's have a look at the old team news. I'm still on bloody holiday mode. That's the trouble with me. Yeah, here we go. We've got in goal, we've got Patterson, and then we've got Brown, Meffem, O'Nien, Hume, Neil, Rigg, Roberts, Jones, Watson, and Isidore. So Watson's still getting run out, and Isidore. So I'd like to see Isidore get a couple of goals. You know, it's been such a long time. And on the subs bench, we've got Moore, Meander, Abdul, Samid, Hjelde, Lafay, Anderson, Alesic, Lavery, and Bainbridge. So that is your team news. Good afternoon, Ken Walton. Good to see you. Keith Lupton, good to see you as well. Good day from Mandurah, Western Australia. Now I just need to set up the timer thing for the football. Squinting my eyes here because it's bright. Like I say, if you've just joined in the chat, results from earlier: Leeds 2, Preston 1, and Plymouth Argyle came back from 1-0 down to beat Sheffield United with a late goal there. So devastating if you are a Sheffield United fan, because that is bad going. That is bad going indeed. Wouldn't like to be a Sheffield United fan. I mean, at least we didn't have that. Can you imagine chucking that away, man? 3 defeats on the bounce. And they had the chance as well, because Leeds United went through a really bad patch. So it's not just Sunderland that go through these bad performances. It's all the teams, basically. It just seems to happen to Sunderland more than anything else, doesn't it?
And we've touched on this, we've talked about this in regards of, fingers crossed, things go right. If we do go up, would we,
Alan Ray, good afternoon.
Like to bring Chris Mepham to the club? And I think we should.
I think they would like to. I think there are a few mitigating factors that could hinder that possible move, but we can only wait and see.
Yeah, I think obviously the big thing is,
Janet,
you know, you're talking about the money,
lost.
but
Maybe
if
the
you go
draw
into the
we
Premier
got
League,
against
and
Plymouth
if you want to
wasn't
bring
that bad
experience and
after all.
quality to the team,
Funny side
you've got to pay the money.
there.
I'm not saying pay to, you know, go way over the top, like for instance Ipswich.
Yeah, I think probably half the problem is there would be other suitors for him as well, who would be prepared to pay the rate at which basically what he's being paid at Bournemouth, I think.
Yeah, and again, you know, that's up to him where he wants to play his football, you know, and I think we've seen a prime example of that. And no disrespect to the likes of Jack Clark, you know.
But it's nice to be back in the studio again.
Yeah, he's mostly picking up the money.
Even though I had a nice
But is he
holiday.
enjoying himself? Is he enjoying life? I don't think he is, and you can see that in his body language.
Interesting now, the place is his to lose. He's in position to be playing in the playoffs, but then close to the playoffs, we're going to have Sirkin fit, Ballard fit, Sealt fit, Elise fit. Once again, we're going to have competition for places.
You're going to have competition for places.
Tell you one thing,
and just touching back on Mepham, and you know, you look at Salah. Everybody was expecting
There's certainly nothing to be
Mohamed
afraid
Salah
of Sheffield
to be
United,
moving to
Sunderland. Yeah,
yeah, to Sunderland. And I think, you know, if you read his article on the reasons why he stayed at Liverpool, is because of his family. His children are happy in school. His wife's happy living in Liverpool, and the money issue doesn't come into it. You know, so again, yeah, he could have gone across there and earned millions.
Well, it's interesting because Regis Lebris was talking about this the other week when it all came out about the Tommy Watson move, and he made a very pertinent point. Some players play for money, and that's their outlook.
Yeah.
Other players play because they just want to play football. Money doesn't become an issue. And interestingly enough, Callum Wilson at Newcastle then made comments related to that he's never chased the money.
Tell you what,
he's chased the football. He wants
the
to play
audio
football.
from the stadium, that's fine.
Broke it down into two
Glad
very
you let me
distinct
know.
branches, if you like.
And again, you look at Callum Wilson, and you know,
Just I've just adjusted the levels there, so if you can just let me know on that one. So that should be a little bit better. Good evening, D Hall. Good to see you, mate.
At Sunderland, and you're talking about world-class players, but it's their time which they've had associated with the football club which lived with them.
Well, on that note,
As the foghorn is starting. Bit too quiet from the stadium now, that's fine.
And you shut up, yeah? And
Yes,
I
Pat.
spoke to Chris following the 0-0 draw at Carrow Road.
Right, 2 seconds, guys.
Chris, in the wars again tonight, I mean, you pulled up one through a block the other week, and you got one in the face, I think, tonight towards the end, which was probably timely.
Yeah, no, it's like I said, it's something I'd take pride in, and to be fair, that's as good as a goal for me. You know, getting in a block like that. But yeah, on the positive, you know, 3 clean sheets in a row. I think it's something we've put a lot of focus on, trying to get back to that defensive resilience and being tight and robust and hard for teams to create chances against. And I thought tonight, I don't really recall a moment where they threatened our goal.
That's better, Cabbie, that's good. Now we can't hear Barnett all, mate.
You're guaranteed the playoffs. I think that point has mathematically made sure that you're in the top 6.
So I've got to try and find
is a pressure off you.
balance.
But I don't think there's ever been any doubt that you would be in the playoffs, is there?
No, I think, you know, for a large part of the season, you know, I think it's playoffs was always going to be a bare minimum for us. I don't think there's been one moment where we've just accepted or settled for the playoffs. I think, you know, we've still.
We'll put the team news on here, I think.
It's, you know, mathematically possible to push the top two. We've still been trying. Yeah, and you know, if it is the playoffs that we need to get promoted, I think the important thing now is just momentum and probably managing players, managing certain aspects of the team, just to keep everyone in a good place heading into the playoffs.
How hard is it to maintain that momentum when you know that you've got basically your position secure?
Yeah, I think it's tough. You know, I think there's been a few times this year where we've made changes to the team, and you know, it can
let's get the team news on here because people keep asking for it. So
their first game in a while. So
let's get this sorted.
It's a fine line between, you know, giving
1-9
players
in
an opportunity to
here.
rest, but also not making too many changes where it kind of affects the momentum of the team. You know, that's something the manager, I'm sure, will deal with properly. But you know, I think it's also important to give people opportunities that probably haven't been playing at this stage of the season, and, you know, give them an opportunity to impress.
Would you, in one sense, would you like a bit of jeopardy in games sometimes now for the run-in to try and gain that momentum?
Roberts, Jones.
Yeah, I think we just need to not let the season now just kind of fizzle out into the playoffs. I think, you know, we've still got loads to play for. As a team, we've still got a lot of areas we need to improve.
Hopefully this is going to be better
you know,
for people.
we need to
Watson,
be,
he's a door.
You know, tuning in to them fine details to put us in the best possible place if it is the playoffs. So yeah, I think we're all
I need
very
to do some
competitive
full
people,
stops
so,
there
like,
at the end
every
because it
game's
will.
still going to mean lots to us, and it's something that, you know, as an experienced player in the team, I'll probably make sure I drive and try and keep everyone really honest. And
I spelled Roberts wrong there.
Because in one sense,
Come on,
you've got a fairly
Stuart.
benign run into the
Get
end
rid
of
of
the
that
season.
P.
The Oxford,
There we
Swansea,
go.
Queen's Park Rangers, none of them have really got anything to play for. Bristol City, now they've pushed themselves up into 5th. I mean, what is the lottery at the minute? Is who's going to finish 5th? Who are you probably likely to play?
Yeah, I think that will look after itself. I don't think there's a team to fear. I don't personally think there's a team that we'd rather
Yeah,
play.
that's
I
better.
think
Hope you win,
whoever-
Jordan Scott. How
whoever
you
we do
doing?
end up playing, if it is the case,
Like I said,
I'm sure
because of
it'll be
copyright, I can't
more
have
than-
the
more than
commentary
appropriate.
full belt and me not
So yeah, I
speaking.
don't think we need to.
I was
look
pretty
at that.
naughty when I
We
was
just
on
need
holiday because it was
to
just
make sure,
pure
like I said,
commentary.
that we just carry on that momentum, because I think that's the most important thing heading into the playoffs. I think, you know, if you're in a good space, it can run through the team and it can run through the fans.
Don't
and,
forget, click the
atmosphere's
thumbs up, and if
incentive.
you're
So,
new, hit the
yeah,
subscribe button.
lots of-
Thanks. I always like to try and
lots
get
of
to 100
I mean,
subscribers.
you said
Chris Minton,
keeping clean sheets for
good
you
to
is
see
good
you.
at scoring
Good to
goals.
see you,
Three
Jordan
bounce
Stott.
now.
Good to see you,
I
Susie
think
Forrester.
watch West Brom, the way they threw
Hi,
everything
Cabbie,
at you,
enjoy
the
the
way
match.
Mark
How are the
threw
lads?
in the
Says
first half.
Susie.
You must be fairly confident in yourselves that your defence now is looking as it was really at the start of the season.
Yeah. Obviously, we had that big spell at the start of the season. Where, you know, we were giving very few chances away.
You're doing great.
and,
That's
you know,
good
naturally
to
over the
hear.
course of the season, you'll have spells where, you know, for whatever reason, confidence-wise, we're not as confident defending the box.
Do you know, it doesn't matter where you
naturally
go
we'll
on
concede
holiday.
a few more chances, but I
You
think it's
cannot
been
beat
important
your
last
own
couple of
house,
games
can you?
against strong opposition to get a couple of clean sheets, and like I said, that's something I do take pride in. And
You
know, the
cannot
more
beat your own
defending we
house
can get between now and the end of the season, the
team.
better for us.
Cheers, Hall, for the team.
Total Sport.
I will
Northeast,
pin that just in
live
case.
From the Stadium of Light. BBC Radio Newcastle.
Chris Mepham talking to me after the 0-0 draw at Norwich on Tuesday night. He starts this afternoon.
Just have to mute the audio commentary there because of the copyright. Richard Newton, good to see you. Hi, Cabbie from Kuwait. Tonight we have Kane, a Liverpool supporter, Mohammed and Ferdinand watching your show. Good luck to the lads. Your prediction 2-1. Well, hello to Kane and Mohammed as well. And that's Regis Labrie.
We try to prepare Romain for this fixture. Should be okay for this target. Yeah.
And is it a concern in the sense that I know we talked about hamstring injuries earlier in the week with Enzo Lefebvre as well? You're easing him back slowly. Is it really because you just don't want him to break down again because he's going to be such an important player for you?
Yes, for him and for others. I think now we are in the stage of the season where when it's possible to manage the squad not in every positions, but for most of them it's possible. And I think for Enzo, when he came in, here the left side was completely open and empty, and we were in a race, and I think he did well, but mistakes properly, and you can't be in the game. And it was a good reminder. I think every games is an opportunity to grow, and I think this one was useful. And after that, the reaction was really positive.
Yeah, sorry, but
out of position mainly because I think we.
Yeah, sorry about that. My wife's working today, the odd Saturday, and every now and again I've got to see to my daughter Summer. So if you're wondering where I go, Carrie's Ball, he says, Upper Swans, welcome to the channel, mate. Carl Wingfield, good to see you, mate. Hello, boys and girls. 3-0. Manuel de la Torre, yes, Janet. Rooster Coburn says, no excuse today, pressure off, playoffs guaranteed. However, lads, let's have a positive performance. I think that's what we're after, isn't it? More than anything.
We're already in a good place because with 76 points, I think we have the 3 teams ahead.
The Stadium of Light looks basked in sunshine as the flag bearers are doing their jobs, waiting for the teams to come out.
So now,
hopefully we're going to have a better game than that ball fest at Carrow Road on Tuesday night. Carrow Road. Because that was awful, wasn't it?
One shot, I can say like that.
That was awful.
in these games, I think the mindset of the team, the consistency of the
103 people now watching. Good to see you all. Click the thumbs up, please, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. It massively helps the channel. Thank you.
The belief the team has belief. It's always had a good team spirit. Do you see that now?
Thanks for the subscriber there.
Almost worth points to that team spirit. This drive, this ambition for these players to want to achieve promotion.
Yeah, probably more than tactics now. And I think the mindset, the personality, the character, the bravery, the connection with the fans, the shared ambition will be more important than small adjustment.
So Sunderland in the red and white stripes. Swansea, bizarrely, are playing in their white strips, which I thought they would have played in their black away strips. Maybe I think there was going to be a colour clash there, perhaps. I don't know.
Swansea earlier in the season.
Sean, I do think that's a funny option, mate. Watson playing again. Get him on the bench. He can't keep it warm for Enzo. Too right. Yeah, he just doesn't want to be here, does he, Watson? Razzle Clark, good to see you, mate. You alright? He says, hi, Cab. Hope you had a nice holiday. Feel it's time. Now playoffs secured to get back to the lovely football we played earlier this season. I do believe that. The Packer Andrew, your score prediction, Cabby. And Sarah Gray says, hiya, watching from Haggerston Castle. So, hello, good to see you, Sarah Gray. I should just mute the commentary because the music will be starting as the teams come out. What's my prediction? It's a funny one, isn't it? I'm going to go 3-0 Sunderland. Why not? Why not? Maverick Loggins, good to see you. How are you doing? Doo-doo-doo. A lot of mixed fortunes about Watson going, isn't there? So the mascots are lined up in the centre circle. Team news again, as you can see, is on the scroller on the screen. I'll quickly go through it if you've just joined us. It's Mua, Migenda, Samed, Hjelde, Lafay, Anderson, Alesic, Livery and Bainbridge as the substitutes. We've got Patterson, 09, Meffam, Brown, Hume, Neil, Jones, Rigg, Roberts, Isidore, Watson. Only fools rush in as being pumped out round the Stadium of Light. Love to be able to play it for the atmosphere, but you can't. Because YouTube will give you a waggly finger.
Sunderland can cement fourth place this afternoon. Already today, Leeds United have beaten Preston and Sheffield United have lost at Plymouth Argyle. And we understand there was quite a lot happening in the tunnel at Home Park following that victory for Plymouth Argyle. It seems Chris Wilder got involved in a little bit of a hoo-ha.
Because he's losing the plot, Chris. Pressure.
The players in the tunnel this time of the year. Both teams in a huddle here.
I will be putting the timer on in a minute, don't worry. Stephen Hill, good to see you. Alright, he says, hi, Cabby. Thanks again from all of us, exiles in Oz. You've no idea how many of us emus are listening. Say hello to whoever's listening and to click that subscribe button if they haven't. But Stephen, great to see you all. Keep up the good work, Steve from Perth. Good evening, mate. Would like to see my namesake Bainbridge on the field.
To the north end of the stadium in the first half. Swansea away to our right as we look down from the main stand, the west stand here at the Stadium of Light. So Sunderland will be playing from left to right. Lawrence Vigouroux, the Swansea keeper, the Chilean, is in bright yellow. He was at Burnley, funnily enough, last season. Born in Camden, believe it or not, the Chilean. He is at the Roker end, and the game is underway now here with the ball pushed back into Jay Fulton, one of the two changes made by Swansea this afternoon, and eventually out for a throw. Quickly taken on that far side by Josh Key, the right back. Back it comes to Harry Darling, and then Timon, the left back, back to the goalkeeper, at the edge of the Swansea City penalty area, and a big kick from him up into the Sunderland half, trying to get the ball through to the Brazilian Ronald.
Just going to see if I can get the...
Which is a very prosaic name, isn't it, for a Brazilian? But Ronald. There you are, Ronald. Here he is. Just lost the O.
A timer on for you, let you know how long's on the clock or what's been going on.
Back to Fulton behind him on that right wing. Again, Fulton. Jay Fulton, very experienced Scottish midfielder. Out to the left, Timon whips it up to Liam O'Brien, who's on loan from Nottingham Forest. Ball into the box, it's not fully cleared. Comes down here for O'Brien, who drives a low, weak shot.
Just bear with us again, I'm just getting the little timer ready there.
We're all over the shop.
We were all over the shop.
Well, we've got to stop being all over the shop, haven't we? It's as simple as that.
Good delivery. And you've just got to say it was his touch what let him down.
There was a real nervousness about Sunderland trying to clear the ball, and Lewis O'Brien's furious with himself. He knows he probably should have done better in the opening couple of minutes of the game. 0-0 then. Robertson.
There we go.
Behind him is Alan Brown. He plays the ball over the head of Liam Cullen, back into the hands of Anthony Patterson, who's all in green this afternoon. Rolls it out to
good luck for today, Cabby. Thanks, LG. How are the lads? Trisha Wynn, Stanley, Sean Russell. We all ready for another half-hearted performance? I hope not.
He is playing the 10 role forward.
Janet says, how are bunny lads? Do it for the fans. Doug B says, only a third of you have thumbs up. Show some respect, folks. Click that thumbs up. You know what's going to happen, says Sean.
Down the right side of the Swansea penalty areas, played it back.
Durham Diver, hi Cabby lad, good to see you Durham. I'm tuning in from a lovely west coast of Scotland. 2-1 win, I'll take that. Good to see you, hello Geordie Groundwater, nice to see you in. Good evening lads and lasses, sorry missed you on Tuesday, work took precedence. Hey, we have to work mate.
Swansea penalty area, Swansea get the ball away as a foul. Just inside the...
yeah, thanks Carl Wingfield. Like the new setup and names and timer. I'm glad you like it, mate. I'm just trying to make it easier for everybody.
But again, we've also got to look at what happens if players are not playing with that confidence, or we've kept...
John Dussaud, is that Harry Darling I heard? Could be Blackadder.
Opportunity there by Swansea. We looked a little bit shaky, nervy, didn't we?
I guess it's a bit of a fine line, isn't it, between resting players but then losing a little bit of momentum if necessary, to try and get minutes for some players who could be involved.
Yeah. Sean, it was an awful game that. I felt sorry for the Sunderland fans travelling down there, mate. Martin Lewins, good to see you. Watching from Leeds. Have to deal with these happy Yorkshiremen. Away the lads. Harold Meslin, good to see you. He says, hello Argyle, do you think we can survive? Absolutely can you survive, Harold. Of course you can. You've got to keep it going though. You've got to back this up with another win if you can. Aaron Curl, good to see you. 2-0 win today hopefully. Just want a nice positive performance. We all do indeed, mate.
As a head coach at Swansea in a caretaker capacity, throwing his hat in the ring as a foul on Dan.
Thanks for the 2 subscribers. 3,779 subscribers now. It would be great to get to 4,000. That'll be a massive milestone. Thanks for the new subscribers anyway.
5 clean sheets in 8, unbeaten in 3, won their last 2. Is Hume, plays it through to Neil. What a ball! Twisted offside.
The goal won't count. Chris Coates, good to see you. I think 3-0. Easy all.
I'm coming back to this. He should not be he keeps on getting caught offside, and to my mind, it's becoming a bit of an issue with him.
Especially with his pace.
Hi, Cabby from Down Under. Good afternoon. Michael Gunning, good to see you. Can we have a good win with a fan? Thomas Burgess, afternoon. Good to see you, mate. Mate Ian, good to see you. Hello, all. Hope you're looking forward to the win today. Nice to see you back from the halls. Yeah, good to see you as well. Spot on, mate.
Gonçalo Franco, Portuguese midfielder, back eventually.
Yeah, but they keep saying Wilson Isidore keeps going offside all the time. But this is what you get when he's not an experienced striker, isn't he? He's not timing his runs properly. But he easily gets caught offside, Isidore, doesn't he?
Slips to Key. Key tries to cross here. Cullen stretches, but he can't put a foot on it in the 6-yard box, and it's swept out to the corner. and Om is on this left-hand side, the South Korean, and Om, he crosses as well, but over the heads of both Liam Cullen and Ronald, and behind for a goal kick to...
So we have put the ball on the net,
You know how
but
easy it was for him to get
offside.
back. Good ball in, and he was just half a yard short, getting that on the end of it, or else it would have been a goal.
3-0 winners in the week over Plymouth. Plymouth who've beaten Sheffield United this afternoon. Here's Mepham, back to Patterson, closed down by O'Brien. Patterson gets the ball up to the halfway line with his kick. Josh Key heads it on to Ronald on the right, and it's put out by Ronald.
Michael Oliver, good to see you, mate. 2-0 to the lads from Colchester. Chris Court, yeah, I'm doing fine, mate. How are you? Sean Butch from offshore in the North Sea. Hope they show some passion this week and make sure of fourth. Jane Holland, hi, sitting listening to the match from the caravan at Sunny Thirsk. Well, hello to everyone in that caravan site. Good to see you, Jane. Tom Garbett, good to see you. He says, all the best from Cambridge, born in South Shields, used to catch the bus along the coast road to Roker Park. Hopefully a win today. All the best. Thank you very much. All the best to all you lot as well.
Anthony Patterson, who just rolls it down to Chris Mepham. And here is on the left Lewis O'Brien. O'Brien
Yes,
gets it back again.
anxiety, Doug.
It's played back to Jay Fulton.
Hasn't started yet, just wait till the playoffs.
Harry Darling. Darling to Timon. Timon down the left wing to Om.
What will be, will be.
Now looking to play it back again to Fulton.
M18, your graphics are looking lovely, Cabby. Thank you. I'm glad you like the new look, mate.
Then to Cabango. Ben Cabango wide to Ronald. Keys inside of him. Ronald's taking this on the far side, taking on Watson and winning a throw.
It's nice to have some positive feedback. It does mean a lot.
Just a yard or two from the corner flag on the right for Swansea City.
You've got to say they've started on the front foot.
They have. Watson's not got in the game yet.
Yeah.
On that left-hand side. And
it's funny when you go on holiday and you come back, your house always feels weird for a couple of days or so till you get back to your normal surroundings.
Another throw for Swansea in the corner.
Your muscle memory had all gone. I was going in the wrong cupboards for knives and forks and stuff because I was that used to going to where I was in the cottage.
Fingers crossed. Ronald.
Get some lopamide in. That's like diazepam, I guess.
Ronald back to Key. Josh Key then drives the ball into the penalty area. Luke O'Nien clears it. Ronald will put it back in again, and it drops over Om's head, and Roberts will race out onto this on the right-hand side. And
you're streaming tonight, Packer. Good lad.
Towards Isidore.
So if you like watching anybody playing FIFA, tune into the Packer Andrew on his channel.
And he's blocked by Trey Hume. It's a free kick for Swansea on the right side of central midfield, roughly halfway inside the Sunderland half. In the 9th minute, 0-0. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
And we're struggling to get going again, aren't we?
Laura Christian, what I do...
Yeah,
stops the craps. What I do, Laura, is I pay a subscription every month to SAFC.com to get the audio commentary.
So, discussion taking place. Richard
Newton says, got your granny's drawers shirt on again. You know we always have a poor start when you put that shirt on. Do you know what? I like the old Nana's knickers. I've warmed to it quite nicely. Durham Diver, I'm...
Dinks it up towards Harry Darling. It's palmed away by...
I said 3-0.
Somebody's
but...
offside. The Cullen, I think it was.
Could he have caught it?
I just, you know, you took the words out of my mouth then. I was thinking, why didn't he catch it?
No.
Let's move that camera a bit.
Under any particular pressure there,
there we go.
He kicks up towards
I did say 3-0, but when I'm looking at this at the minute, I've got 0-0 written all over it.
Goes across the cover. Rigg drops back as well. It's played back to Franco. Franco back again to the halfway line to Cabango. And Cabango then slips it to Darling on the centre spot, who swept it out to Ronald over his head for a throw to Sunderland on the left. Halfway inside their own half.
I think the worry is, you know, you just mentioned Tommy Watson, he hasn't had a touch yet. You know, Chris Rigg hasn't had a touch yet.
A couple of blocks, but that's all. Rigg does get a touch then. Back to Hume, who's pushed over. Free kick, left of the Sunderland penalty area, which O'Nien takes virtually on the goal line to Patterson. O'Nien gets the ball back, brings this out, plays it out to Mepham wide on the right, and Mepham back.
There's not much happening in the game.
O'Nien just outside the Sunderland penalty area. Back again to Patterson. And
Harold
Patterson
says Swans were ruthless versus Argyle. I think this might be a 0-0 or 1-1, hoping for Sunderland. Harold, it's got a draw written all over it, the first 10 minutes.
Roberts is actually just right up the centre circle. It's played back by O'Nien to Patterson. And Patterson again tapping it to Luke O'Nien.
M18, I've had a lot of anti-MX having to put up with endless skunk stuff since Wembley. Glad it's wearing off. Yeah, I can't remember the last 3-0 either.
We can't get out. We can't get out. That's the problem they've got.
Dan Neal back to Patterson, closed down, nearly caught, but he gets the ball away, all the way back up to Darling, nearly caught by Ronald, and Vigouroux, he kicks clear of Isidore, up to the halfway line, great ball to Key, he's brought it down well, leaves it for Franco.
Stop fanning about at the back, man.
The back of the centre circle, now to Darling again, Darling back to Fulton. Across to Cabango. Ben Cabango.
Razzle Clark, don't blame me yawning.
Welsh international.
Yeah, I'm just tired.
Up here to Key, edge of the area, squares it to his left to Cullen. One back though by Rigg, eventually cleared by Hume, but straight back to Swansea. Cabango to Ronald, down the right of the penalty area, crosses O'Brien's header, it's wide left.
It's looking more likely Swansea's going to break the lead, going to get the scoreline here. They're going to go ahead.
They've not got off. They've not got out the blocks yet.
Tell you what, you know, Swansea will be looking at. They've created 3 good opportunities, haven't they?
Yeah, John Newell says this is looking like another poor home performance. We have no chance in the playoffs. Momentum has gone for the Birds.
Just tweaking the formation a little bit.
Jones hasn't seen the ball yet, really, up front with Isidore.
We said this on Tuesday. You know, how come the opposition don't allow us to play out, but yet when they get the ball, they're allowed to play out. You know, and that's what we're talking about. Where to press. You know, we need.
And do you know what? I don't think it matters one iota where Sunderland finish in the playoffs, because it's a lottery, isn't it? It doesn't matter if you're 20 points clear
Watford's chances were very
of the
much
team
on the outside of
below you.
The ball goes behind for a corner to Swansea.
It does not matter who you play. It does not matter where you finish in the top. Well, in third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Already, Nick, where, you know, you're looking around for that experience, and you've got to say they need to wake up.
Janet says, fans be positive, get behind your team. June says, I am in a rush, so be quick. Where do I watch the real live match for free? Just try and search the internet, June, see if you can find a stream for it.
14 minutes in, here's the corner taken short.
It certainly is, Rooster.
The right hand side over the bar behind for a goal kick to Sunderland. Tymon's left foot.
We'll struggle to get out. Watch.
Took the ball over the top. Mepham closed down by O'Brien. Back to Patterson, who has to kick long, but it's going to go drop on the head of Darling. And
look how easy these will play out now
on this left hand side. Slips it down the wing to Brown's on his shoulders. Brown left it for Jones to try and win back, but it's played into Cabango. His ball intercepted by Brown out to the wing. Back to Mepham. Forwards to Roberts now, who skips away from Fulton. And now trying to win it because Franco stuck a foot at it. And Roberts did well. He kept possession under pressure. And Mepham plays it back behind O'Nien. O'Brien's giving him the chase. And O'Brien got a touch which takes it behind for a goal kick. Pressure.
That's closing down.
That's
pressing.
Anthony Patterson has that arm out, hand out, calm down. Crowd just trying to rouse themselves as well as the players, I think. Back to Patterson.
We can't play out, see?
He kicks away to the left, headed on by Hume, looking for Watson. Has done well here to bring it down in front of Key, but Key recovers. Slips the ball inside to Cabango, who plays it up to O'Brien on the halfway line and loses it. Hume Plays it back now to Mepham.
My daughter's just asked for some toast now.
Right wing, halfway inside the Swansea City half. Inside to Patrick Roberts. Roberts again cutting in and trying to swing the ball up to Isidore, who heads it behind him. Looking, well,
Etienne says, agreed, Janet, I would have taken that goalie before the beginning of the season.
To Mepham, who heads it down on the halfway line to Brown. Brown back to O'Nien. And O'Nien, in the middle of his own half, slips it forwards a few yards to Dan Neal. Neal back to Luke O'Nien.
Richie Rennick says, people acting like CABBIE is the Radio Times. God's sake, that's a long time ago. Radio Times.
Mepham forwards to
Used to circle the programmes.
Into the path here of O'Brien. O'Brien shoots over the angle.
I tell you what, we're fannying about at the back, like.
The opposition balls like that.
But you can read.
We're massively fannying on at the back.
2 or 3 occasions where the ball, they're trying to play little triangles. And
Tell you what, we'll get ripped to shreds in the playoffs if we play like this. Yet West Brom are 1-0 up. They are.
Nottingham Forest is on loan at the early part of the season to Los Angeles. And before that, Middlesbrough. Also played in.
Just stop. We're just constantly passing it left and right at the back. Left and right at the back. Get it up the field, man.
Straight through the middle, looking for the run of Watson and Isidore. But it's played back by Key to the goalkeeper, who hooks it back up onto the
Harrison Jones, one of our youngsters.
Behind him to Luke O'Nien. 17th minute, live on BBC Radio Newcastle, 0-0 still. Watson on the left, inside to Neal. Now he's done well here. Neal, he's flipped the ball now. Tried to slip it to Hume.
Yeah, I'm going to finish off making my daughter's toast. I don't think I'm going to miss much.
And now O'Nien is backing off him. The Brazilian's taking it on down the right-hand side. He's got round him, but across comes O'Nien from Hume. Hume gets the ball now in the penalty area and clears up towards the halfway line. Timon, I think it is, nods it down to inside to Franco, back to Darling. On the halfway line, left of the centre circle, plays it to Cabango. Cabango out to Josh Key on the far side. To Fulton, and now to Darling again at the back of the centre circle, looking for Ronald on the far side. Hume gets under it, nods it down to Watson. Hume gets it back, plays it to Rigg. Rigg now to Mepham. Mepham bringing this out on the right, out wide to Roberts, slips it on to Harrison Jones, and then Roberts picks it up again. Roberts into the Swansea half, finds Dan Neal. And Rigg a lot to do. Rigg to Watson. Watson now taking on Key. He's got Roberts inside. Has he hit it too hard to the goal line? He has, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. Did all the hard work and then just overstruck it.
Yeah, good build-up work. Good build-up play there.
Better from Sunderland. 0-0 still. 19th minute of the game. The ball at the feet of Cabango on the right corner of the 6-yard box.
Hello, Luty. Good to see you. Good morning, CABBIE. Hoping for a win. How are the lads?
Big kick over the halfway line. Back into the Sunderland half with Alan Brown, now Chris Mepham. Forwards.
Ken Udale says, is this walking football?
Out to Hume on the left, closed down by Ronald. Back to O'Nien.
This is just, we're in the playoffs. Job done kind of game, isn't it?
Over the halfway line to Timon, on to on halfway.
Chris Minton, good to see you. 20 past 11. The problem is I wake up at 6 or 7 in the morning and it's a long wait till the kick-off. It certainly is. Let's hope it's worth it for you, mate. Razzle Clark says, this game is as dull as it's sounding on your commentary, Cab. Sounds flat. You know, it's just seeing the game out, innit?
Last 4, home to Hull, away at Queen's Park Rangers, away at Millwall, and then a home game to finish the season against Oxford United. Ball back on halfway with Cabango. Now Darling to Timon, Josh Timon, former Hull defender, Hull-born, Kingston upon Hull-born. Back to Patterson, picks the ball up in front of Ji-song. Rolls it out now to Dan Neal.
Excuse me for yawning.
In the sunshine out to the left to Hume. Closed down straight away by Ronald. The ball drops to Dan Neal. Neal slips it to Jones in the centre.
Thanks for the subscriber. Thank you. 3,780 subscribers now.
Stopped the play for a head injury.
As he clashed.
There's a clash at the edge of the centre circle, and it is Franco.
Billy Fly, good to see you, mate. Sleepwalking.
The player involved with Rigg.
Look, I'll take some sleeping pills and wake up, couldn't we? Full time, 0-0, full time score.
Coming across to retrieve the ball from Alan Brown. The drop ball on this near side, the Sunderland right. Franco's back up on his feet. And the ball dropped to the feet of Alan Brown by the referee. Back to MACKEM. MACKEM to O'Nien. O'Nien on down the left-hand side to Watson. Closed down straight away by Josh Key. Back again to O'Nien. And now MACKEM. MACKEM wide to Roberts. In front of Regis Lebris. Up against his opposite number 10, Om. Gets away from him. Lays it off to Hume. Still in his own half, just. And forwards down that left wing to Watson. Back to Roberts, who's out on the left now. Having to come back across to the right. O'Nien drives the ball wide on this right-hand side to Brown, who keeps it in, heads it on down to the corner of the penalty area, looking for Harrison Jones, but then Brown fouls on, and it's a free kick.
QPR 1-0 up 2.
Queen's Park Rangers 1, Bristol City 0.
CABBIE partying last night.
Bristol City currently 5th. Coventry behind them. Coventry
No,
don't play until Monday night.
It's just what you call being in holiday mode still.
Still Hartlepool 1 now. In comes Rigg. Tries to get the ball through to Jones. Comes back down to Watson on the left in the penalty area. Back out to Isidore. His shot is blocked by Key, and it will run away for a throw.
James says, how well, lads, get a grip, man. Let's show some fight and take some momentum into the playoffs.
Hume's jogging down to take this. Watson's in the corner.
It is a gamble, isn't it, if Sunderland are just taking it easy until the playoffs, because you can't just switch on like that, can you?
At it, but it's swept through and gone behind. 2 players down. I think Jones is it Jones? Yeah, Harrison Jones is one of them, and there's a Swansea defender down as well. And both sets of physios run on. Josh Tyman, is it? Yeah, Josh Tyman. Talking of physios, while there's a break in play, you may remember David Billingsley, who used to be the physio here at Sunderland. He left a good few years now to go to Manchester United. Well, he's announced his retirement today.
His retirement.
He's giving up. He's giving up. He says it's time to spend more time with his family.
Fantastic.
So good luck to David Billingsley.
Good luck.
He's had a good career. Had a great time at Old Trafford over the years. Hanging up his gloves rather than his boots.
Yeah, not his sponge.
His sponge. Do they use a sponge anymore? I don't think they use. Do they use sponges anymore? Magic sponge.
A magic sponge.
So we're going to break in play here in the 24th minute. Both sets of players have come down for drinks, and a little bit of impromptu coaching, certainly from Regis Lebris, Michael Proctor, and the coaching team, all having a say, all got something to add to the conversation. 0-0. If you're just joining us on BBC Radio Newcastle, we'll have the phone in, of course, later. Colin White and Benno after 5. Total Sport returns on Monday with Colin White. Pridey's off next week.
Is he?
He's off. He's off again. Yeah, he's on his holidays next week. Wasn't very well last night.
Bless him.
Josh Tyman's back on his feet, Harrison Jones back on his feet, so I hope Pridey's got a lot better in time for his holidays. As the players, they drift back out onto the pitch. The 2 that were involved in that little incident having to come off. Josh Tyman's walking round the pitch. Harrison Jones just jogging off behind Pete Brand. So goalless, 25 minutes almost play. We've had a break of a couple of minutes, and Harrison Jones is having to switch shirts. So one assumes there was some blood involved in that particular incident. Harrison Jones gets a fresh shirt, and what strikes me as quite interesting is normally
back to front,
players, well, it's back to front. Normally the players wear the GPS gear, don't they?
Yeah,
but he's not. He's not got anything on underneath his shirt, which I think is probably going to be numberless, actually. It appears to be the case. Harrison Jones will resume without a number 50 on his back. Here's Dan Neil inside the Sunderland half. Back to Anthony Patterson. Patterson passing it out to Mepham again. Timon and Jones waiting to come.
Have I missed anything?
Simon Mather just calling Timon to him. Mepham on halfway back to O'Nien, and both players come
Well, I
back
don't think
on.
I'd be allowed to show it on a if Trisha takes her top off, will I?
Rigg battles for it with Franco and loses
Zach,
it.
how are we playing?
Ball comes back then to Hume.
It's a typical
Hume just inside the Swansea
job
half.
done within the playoffs kind of a match.
And now to
Where I'm not going to bust a
not quite
gut
the same game we saw at
type
Swansea
of a
this
match.
season when Swansea were 2-0 up but lost the game 3-2, of course. Brown inside to Jones, shuffled off the ball though, and Timon gets it forwards to O'Brien, who stretches and is caught by Mepham. So it's going to be a free kick to Swansea. O'Brien's helped to his feet.
For the ladies, I'll take my shirt off. Christ almighty, they'll have nightmares.
For Swansea in his loan spell.
They'll have nightmares, man.
Against Plymouth on Tuesday night.
It's like you've been talking about, Nick, you know, you just can't turn the tap on and you're just going to get
you can't flick that switch that
you know,
Reggie's talked about.
Yeah, so you're thinking, you know, the last 2 or 3 games, you need to be thinking about the 11 which you're going to start the game off in the playoffs.
Here's Brown again on the
I know what
right.
Gary
And
Bennett's
come back
saying
to
is you
that
can't
question
just
I
turn the
asked you
tap on, but
Tuesday night.
do you really want to go hell for leather
Do we realise how much he does get
when
involved?
you're in the playoffs anyway?
They are missing him in the middle of the park. But also, you know, you're asking...
And
now
risk
Brown
more
to come
injuries.
right back. You know,
I don't know.
Hume usually plays at right back. You know, you've got to be thinking about who's going to play in that left back position.
Got 80 likes, just 20 more likes to hit 100. If you're new, hit the subscribe button, thank you. Massively helps me channel.
And also the issue with Joe, when he was suspended, was when Sunderland went through that spell of 7 games without a win. Here's the ball through to Watson from Roberts into the penalty area. Watson on his right, saved by the feet of Vigouroux. Watson tried to place it, and
First
Vigouroux
shot, isn't
managed
it?
to scramble it away with his feet. But that's the best chance Sunderland have had in 28 minutes of the game.
And you know what the question is? Wilson
Should he have crossed? Should he have passed to Wilson?
Yeah, he was in a tight angle.
Yeah.
You know, could he have just rolled it for Wilson Isidore to score?
Well, an opportunity. Vigouroux saved. It's still 0-0. Here's Watson again on the left-hand side, slipping it down the left now to Rigg. Rigg slips it inside now to Trey Hume. He tried to pull it back, and Watson comes in again, another block, and it's headed down and out to Ronald by Key.
Well, at least we're having a go.
Tackled on the touchline.
Harold says, I'm off to my friend's 50-year-old birthday party. I'm going to get drunk, hopefully laid. Dirty boy. Matey and I have a black cat logo top on me thigh. I call it my birthmark.
Trey Hume, again, you see, gets in on that left-hand side and he can get it onto his right foot, which he was trying to do.
As a plane flies overhead.
He gets the ball
Getting
over
quite
the halfway
overcast,
down
but it's
line
still
after being
bright
closed
and
down
it's
by
pretty
Isidore.
warm.
Foul on O'Nien. Now a big game in League 2, the foot of the table. Morecambe 0, Carlisle 1.
Huge game.
Huge game, because Carlisle probably, well, they do need to win it. They have to play Accrington Stanley in one of their final games of the season. There is a glimmer of hope for Carlisle staying in the Football League, but they will have to beat Morecambe this afternoon. And they lead 1-0.
Russell Clark, apart from the offside goal, has either side had a shot on target.
Still going, but another player down here. O'Brien sitting on the
Just
pitch.
the last 5 minutes, that attempt we've had with Watson. But that's about it, mate.
And O'Brien's back up on his feet.
The fourth official has seen something.
The fourth official's in conversation with Lewis O'Brien.
The fourth official is the one who's called it.
So what's happened here?
Stop stopping the game, man.
Roberts clearly
Gee,
not
mate.
best pleased, nor are the Sunderland players.
307 now watching.
They're having a conversation,
Hello to
aren't they?
everyone. How are you all doing?
Official. He's talking to him.
Thanks for the subscriber, thank you.
Mepham, is it?
Mepham.
How we're playing, Becky? It's slow,
Dan Neil as
but
captain
we've
is
woken up a
intervened.
little the last few minutes.
Chris
Bristol have
Mepham
equalised.
is,
Ah,
it's going to be spoken
we
to
are,
by
Keith.
O'Brien.
We are indeed.
Lewis O'Brien, Mepham's pointing at O'Brien. Yellow card for O'Brien, yellow card for Mepham.
The heck's all that over like?
And Bristol City have equalised at Queen's Park Rangers.
Great cure for insomnia, says
So
James.
whatever went on, the fourth official saw it, the referee didn't, but both players have been booked.
He's been busy, O'Brien, hasn't he? Been involved in a couple of incidents.
I mean, if we perform like this, can you see Sunderland actually getting past Coventry if we get them?
0-0, BBC Radio Newcastle. The referee's just making his notes on his yellow card. The upshot of this.
But earlier, if you don't know the results, Leeds United beat Preston 2-1 at Ellen Road. And at Home Park, Plymouth came from a goal down to beat Sheffield United 2-1, and the score with like literally 3 minutes to go. So that's 3 consecutive defeats now for Chris Wilder's Sheffield United. So not good for the Blades at all there. Aaron says, might go for a nap. We'll wake you up when we score. Well, you might be having a sleep for another week, I would say then. But you never know.
Away to Watchalong on the left. What a good ball over the top, but he's offside. There's a surprise.
Isidore really needs to time his runs properly.
And goalkeeper Vigouroux retrieves the ball. Cabango's going to take the free kick. Shadow creeping
302, please hit the like button. We've got 88 likes.
Got the ball back now.
Just click the little thumbs up, thank you.
In bright yellow, kicks it wide.
James says no chance, mate. Coventry would tear us apart.
Past Hume, inside to O'Brien, overhits his pass, looking for Key to run onto, but he's passed it behind.
Earlier in the Premier League as well, I think it finished Manchester City 4, Crystal Palace 2. Fernie, good all. How are you doing, mate? You feeling a little bit better now, Fernie? Good to see you. Couple of nice little wins on the bounce there, mate.
This game has never had goals written all over it.
It's looking like you and Burnley going up in the top 2, mate, after that little blip you have had. But Sheffield United not half give you a big favour, haven't they? Oh. Durham says, if we get promoted, Cabby, I don't fancy our chances in the Premier League with this team. Oof, no chance. John, yeah, Isidore hasn't a clue really. I don't know what's up with Isidore. Let's not be obsessed by Coventry, Middlesbrough or Bristol City. Would we be difficult? Would be difficult. Bristol City would be difficult games. They're all, but yeah, they all will be, won't they? Every single one will be a difficult game.
You know, instead of going, you know, forwards do want to go forward. But he's got to look along the line.
Vigouroux then will take this free kick in the D for Swansea. Powerful kick through the centre. 09 heads it back to Pattison.
Kyle Q says, win makes confidence. We need to play for playoffs. We do. Phil O'Brien, hello mate, how you doing? Swans fan here. Sunderland so interesting in state of limbo really. It must be odd knowing that you have had a shot at promotion in a couple of weeks, but not much to do in the meantime. It's a strange feeling, Phil. And I think that's a genuine feel around the stadium you like today. It just feels like a friendly game. Fernie says, pressure washer on, but should have scored 8 today. Couldn't finish our dinner. I'm surprised that, because you're usually red hot at finishing, aren't you? But it's the 3 points that matters, mate. We can counter Coventry, but we know how they play now. James says, Kyle, agree, mate. We need to start putting a few wins together. This is just like a pre-season game, isn't it? Exactly just like a pre-season game.
There are variations. Here's Neil. Up now to Rigg. Rigg out to Watson. Watson taking on Key, and he's going to try and dribble around him and Ronald. Watson still has it, slips it down the left of the penalty area to Roberts in the corner.
Don't forget, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much.
For a throw to Swansea. But being busy, Roberts has been busy this afternoon.
John says, take Isidore off. Half-time clues. Oh, it was 5-2 Harry Barker, wasn't it? 5-2. My correction, 5-2.
The ball comes back into the Sunderland half.
Palace well and truly beaten.
To Pattison. And out then on the left to O'Nien. Back to Pattison. Out again to Mepham on this right-hand side. And I've been shown a nice picture.
I'm going to give a big shout to Big Davey, my partner in crime, who comes on the channel. Hope you're alright, mate. And his son Kev, who are watching the game today.
I'm not going to get
And if
into
they're
a
looking
debate
back
about who makes the
on
best
the
pink slices in
commentary, we'll
Sunderland,
just
because
say hi to
all
you
sorts of
guys.
furore about that one. As the ball slipped off on by Dan Neil in front of the Swansea coach for a throw to Sunderland. Probably says more about the game. We're talking about pink slices than the game itself, doesn't it, really? Goalless has come back to Patterson, and sad to say, this is one of those nil-nils that is a, you know.
Cheers, Fernie. I don't think you had that little blip, but
at the moment, Dan Neil in the middle is.
I think you're home and dry, to be honest with you, mate.
Yes.
I think Sheffield United have given you a massive, and Burnley a massive sort of bit of a hand there, should I say? Jacqueline Copson, good to see you, Jacqueline. You all right? How are you doing?
It's appealing to the referee that he's been hurt on the ankle, that is hauled up by Harry Darling. Franco's muttering on still, but the referee's just walked away from him. In the last 10 minutes of the first half.
God, this is worse than Tuesday night, isn't it?
Anything down?
One thing. I think one thing down. That was Watson's 12-yard shot at Vigaroo. I'm afraid the first half hasn't deemed worthy of anything else.
That's putting it nicely.
We'll just have a go in the playoffs. I don't think it'd be a huge disaster if we didn't get promoted in the playoffs. It's been a decent season.
Jones trying to hassle him. He gets it across.
If we didn't get up in the playoffs,
Cabango now longer ball, which
we definitely need to stop signing injured players. Speakman, okay, we've got to stop signing injured players. Dougie Stewart, good to see you, mate. You all right? That would be good, Fernie, to go up with Leeds, wouldn't it? Two massive clubs in the big time. Stephen Martin, good to see you. He says, hi, Cabbie, who just got in. How we're playing? Like a friendly match, like a pre-season game, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Out to the right wing by Luke O'Nien, looking for Roberts. But the bounce was awkward and bounced over Roberts.
Isidore keeps getting caught offside every time he goes forward.
Patrick Roberts a little bit unlucky there.
Yes, Ben.
Had he been a couple of inches taller, he'd been alright, wouldn't he?
Being unlucky, what? Being small?
Because he's been, yeah, he was. I'm singling him out there for being short. But he wasn't. If he had been a couple of inches taller, he would have got on the end of that. Timon is clearing down the left-hand side. It's headed back by
Paul Havelock. Hello, Paul. I used to live in General Havelock Road in Sunderland.
Free kick for Swansea.
Years and years ago.
In the Swansea half.
Ian Curry. Hello, Ian. How are you doing, my good fellow? Good to see you. Looks like Sheffield United have messed up. Yeah, big time.
Back to Vigaroo, and Vigaroo drives it up over the halfway line again, looking for
the position Sheffield United were in was bad, like.
Nods it back to Luke O'Nien. And O'Nien.
You're going to score with an African lady, Harold.
Left-hand side, up through the middle.
NM8 says, the problem is, Cabbie, mate, we keep showing so much potential, then flatter to deceive. Especially second half of the season. For me, this season was just to make up for last season, says Stephen. Ian says, I dreamt ages ago it would be us and Sheffield United at Wembley.
Here's O'Nien under a bit of pressure. Squares it, though, to Patterson.
If it was, Sunderland have got the advantage, because Sheffield United, it'll be absolutely mentally done if they chuck away the automatics, after being so dominant through most of the season.
Got a goal. Brighton 1, Leicester 1.
That's the first time they've scored in.
Kim Dawson, good to see you. Welcome. I'm a Geordie, but I want Sunderland to win. Very, very kind of you. Respect. Respect.
The ball back with Harry Darling.
Thanks for the subscriber. Thank you.
And a big kick upfield, headed away by Hume. Drops to Rigg. Whipped off him by
was in Borough Tuesday night, tough game, but 3 points. Yes, it was a good. It was a hard 3 points, wasn't it? Because Middlesbrough, they were terrible at finishing, weren't they? They were terrible. But you hung on, and that's all that matters.
Grimsby 1. Here's Timon.
It was uncomfortable watching, wasn't it?
Broken for Jones, back to Neil. Short pass to Harrison. Jones again out to Brown. Brown gets back from Roberts. Roberts inside now Brown inside to Neil. Neil wrestled by Franco. Gets his foot on the loose ball. Brown trying to get it back out to Neil, and by luck, more than judgment, it does fall for Neil, and is eventually pushed out for a throw.
100 likes. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you so much for kicking that thumbs up.
Back to Roberts, now down the line to Brown. Brown trying to find Dan Neil again, who's offside. He knew it. Do you know, Dan Neil knew immediately that ball was played. He was in an offside position. It's a free kick.
Get the sun loungers out and just put your heads back and just have a snooze.
Will take. We're in the 41st minute. Unfortunately, there'll be a couple of minutes on the end of the first.
Dear. The three fishermen. Good to see you, mate. Afternoon, Cabbie. 5 pre-season games before the hard work starts. You couldn't have said it more myself, mate. You couldn't have said it more clearer. 5 pre-season games.
Drives this ball forwards for Swansea, straight at Dan Neil. Neil, it's wayward pass.
It does, Fernie, and that's madness considering how far Sheffield United were.
Swansea, which Key takes.
Stephen Martin, we must go out for top 2 next season. It's a must. We do, but that all depends as well as what we do in the signing. If we go and sign another 4 players that are injured, it's just not going to happen. And we've already been told that Jayden Danns will not be playing for Sunderland this season because of a small fracture in his back. You couldn't write it, could you? Speakman, somebody knows Speakman's phone number, give him a ring and just tell him to stop signing injured players here, especially for next season. Just pack it in.
He's switched balls. He's taken one off the cone and left the other one to be replaced. That's later on the cone. Do you think so? Then with this throw into the penalty area. Up goes Cabango, but is beaten in the air behind him by MACKEM. And now it's shuffled out by Watson. Comes back in though. Cullen to Darling. Key with a cross. Looking for the cross from Ronald, I think, looking for Key, but Key couldn't get on the end of it. Roberts picked it up in the corner on the right.
John says performance is pathetic in this first half. No energy or commitment. Have to improve. Bring subs on straight away in the second half. Powell, the signs in my cup of tea say stay relaxed and Netflix and chill.
Watson brings it across here to
Trevor, more like Dr. Doolittle, who signed Jayden Danns, honestly.
Ronald on his shoulder finds Dan Neil in the middle of the Swansea half, and now O'Nien to Roberts in the middle. Short pass to Watson, blocked by Key, who gets the ball at the edge of the area, plays it to O'Brien, gets it back Key, and plays it longer up over the halfway line, out for a throw. Came off a Sunderland player, and it's a Swansea throw. So I don't know what Hume was playing, or MACKEM was playing at. Do you know, in a way, that's a sort of metaphor for the game, isn't it? It's just lackadaisical.
Oh, it is. Well, he just summed it up with Dan Neil's pass there.
Yeah.
2-3 minutes ago. You know, there's no tempo to it. There's no quality to it, is there?
It's sloppy as the ball cleared by Vigouroux. Up towards Up goes Brown. Comes down to Neil. Off the head of Fulton for a throw to Sunderland on the right. We're in the 44th minute. Goalless. We're live on BBC Radio Newcastle. Perhaps that's
Paul Haverick says too hot in Aberdeen, Scotland today. Cabbie, hope a couple of whiskies to cool down while listening to you. Definitely worth it. Hey, have one for me, mate. Cheers with my bottle of water.
In midfield to Rigg.
Northallerton MACKEM, good to see you. He says, oh my God, Carl, I'm going to this party even if I get arrested. Paul Robson, good to see you. Got to stick me into on Lafay in the second half. I definitely agree with you that one. Does that work?
Sunderland just left at the centre circle in the last minute of the 45. Simon Mather, the fourth official, arms folded, the board lying against his hip. How much time is he going to add on? 2 minutes?
1 minute, you hope.
Well, you hope, but I don't think it's been a couple of minutes stoppage. There's crowd trouble at Cardiff. Cardiff against Stoke.
Crowd trouble at Cardiff?
Game's been suspended. Oh.
Crazy.
Cardiff versus Stoke.
Martin Lewin says, I've really enjoyed this season. Yeah, I mean, we're fourth. Do you know what I mean? Come on, lads, step up for the fans. Ryan Jones says, hi everyone, let's hope someone can have a good day.
Well, Nick, this has got to be the worst the worst 45 minutes.
3 minutes. Well, since Coventry.
The worst 45 minutes. There we go.
Well, at least there was a little bit of tempo in the Coventry game.
There was tempo, yeah, there was tempo. But
this,
in terms of, yeah, you're at home against.
This is dire, isn't it?
Thanks for the 3 subscribers. Thank you.
Well, Isidore felt it was pulled back by Darling. The referee's having none of it.
Just going back to you said that you seen that little girl.
Absolutely agreed, Trevor. People have paid good money to come and watch this.
There'll be a few others who's been yawning as well.
I fear for those in the sun on the far side. All that warmth in this game flagged up offside on Isidore again.
Oh, sure.
Kick to Swansea City.
No, I'm nearly done. Just give 2 seconds, Lucy.
Nearly a minute of the minimum 3 being added on at the end of this.
Maverick says, yeah, Cardiff Stoke have a medical emergency. Players off the pitch. Oh, it's a medical emergency. Chris Court says, we are crap. Can't even break them down. We're not even trying to, are we? Russell Clark says, imagine Peter Reid and Roy Keane putting up with today's performance. Every other team chasing promotion has to go for it every game. We don't. Those 4 wins at the start are helping us big time now. Rooster says, no wrong with a bit of meat on the knife. Trevor says it's meaning.
Regis Lebris, Neil inside up to Isidore, who finds Jones.
It's more than a half-hearted performance. I wouldn't even call it half-hearted, Sean.
Alan Brown just behind him, out to Jones again on this right side, back to Brown, and now Roberts on the touchline, back to Brown.
Well, thanks for the 321 and everybody in the chat for sticking with me today.
Oms on his shoulder, Jones to Brown on the touchline, clips it back to Jones on halfway, back into the Sunderland half to Mepham, closed down by O'Brien, who slips over, hurt his hip. Mepham gets the ball away, out on the left to Hume, now to Watson. Watson running at Key down the left of the penalty area, and a corner.
Corner ball.
Their first corner of the game in the last minute of the 3.
Zach says, can I have moderator? Says Zach.
Excitement.
Excitement.
It was an adrenaline rush at the end of the first half.
Definitely need a switch round of players for second half. It's got to be, mate. It's got to be.
Asking him to shoot.
I'd laugh if he scored direct from this corner now. Hume then will take the corner on the left at the Roker end. Roberts is on the left corner of the penalty area. We're in the last minute of the minimum 3, and Hume, both arms raised momentarily, curls this in, and the keeper punches it back out towards Hume. But, he's caught.
Kyle says, to be fair though, this is not the team our manager has built. He needs his own players next season.
Good job he's not a boxer.
And he's a bit fragile, isn't he, Franco?
Towel would have been. Oh, even
booze at half time? Are the fans being harsh there?
Over the 3 minutes. So goalless.
Right, I'm just going off for a refreshment. Catch you in a bit. Hello, how are you all doing?
Players emerge for the second 45.
Well, I've had a bit of refreshment. The kids are off to the cinema with my next door neighbour.
Roker end, they're in their
We've got to have a better second half, have we not?
Swansea are all in white. Dan Neil about to get us underway as we look down from the back of the West Stand. Sunderland kicking from right to left. Referee Farai Hallam in black blows to get the second 45 underway, and the ball back with Anthony Patterson, who's in green this afternoon, over Isidor's head. Cabango heads it on, and then Brown puts his head on it, tries to get it forwards, but it's broken for Lewis O'Brien, looking for the run of Ronald down this right side of the Sunderland penalty area. He's got to try and get in past Luke O'Nien, puts the ball onto the penalty spot almost, trying to get Cullen on the end of it. Cullen tried to control it but couldn't, and eventually fouls Mepham, is it? Not Mepham, it fouls Rigg, I think, on the right side of the penalty area.
That's got to be a little bit concerned because he had so much time. He took it on his chest. He took it on his chest.
He did. I mean, he was unmarked basically on the penalty spot. O'Nien has the ball now as the free kick's been taken. Patterson in goal, back four of Brown, Mepham, O'Nien and Hume, Neil and Rigg, Roberts, Jones, Watson and Isidore is the starting 11. The bench is more Mienda, Salis, Hjelde, Lefay, Anderson, Alexic, Lavery and Bainbridge, as it goes out for a throw here on the left for Sunderland, deep in the Swansea half. Watson takes the throw, back to Hume, inside to Dan Neil, back out to Hume, slips it back inside to Rigg, looking for Watson in the corner, but Key is very strong and just shoulders Watson off the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick. To Swansea and Laurence Vigouroux, who, though, despite being born in Camden, played for Brentford Youth and Tottenham, and he's also played at Liverpool and Swindon. He has actually played in Chile for Everton de Vina del Mar. From that glorious location, he moved to Lake Norriam, and last season at Burnley. Here's O'Nien, keeps the ball in, plays it into Patterson, and Mepham just tracking into the penalty area, gets the ball on the right-hand side for Sunderland. Back to Patterson, and Patterson tapping it out here to Luke O'Nien again. It's that Enzo Lefay that's warming up down below us. I think it is, because I seem to recall that Lefay was wearing a bandage on his wrist on Tuesday night, and that is Mienda now joining him. So Mienda and Lefay warming up at the start of this second half. We're in the 48th minute, it is still 0-0. Vigouroux with a clearance down the right, straight to Trey Hume. Hume into the centre to Mepham. O'Brien goes to close him down. Back from Brown to Patterson at the edge of the Sunderland penalty area at the Roker end. He taps it out to Mepham again. Mepham puts a little spurt on to try and get away from O'Brien, out to the right touchline where Roberts and Brown. Roberts now on the halfway line. Neil sweeps it across to Hume on the left-hand side. Hume, Ronald's just stood in front of him, plays it back to Luke O'Nien in the centre circle. He plays a diagonal ball out to Brown, who tried to touch it into the path of Jones, but the defender Darling gets in front of him. The ball runs into the hands of the goalkeeper. He's come out to the edge of his penalty area, away to our left as we look down from the back of the West Stand. 49th minute, 0-0. Swansea, Vigouroux in goal, back four of Key, Cabango, Darling and Timon. midfield of Franco, Fulton and O'Brien, and the front three of Ronald, Cullen and Om. Ball out for a throw to Sunderland on the right, quickly taken on halfway, back through Mepham here. He's in the middle of the Sunderland half on the right of midfield. Plays it out to the touchline again to Alan Brown. Brown, oh, the ball's lost to O'Brien just inside the Sunderland half. He finds Franco and wins the free kick. The play's been brought back. The referee looked at it if there was any advantage. There wasn't. So Fulton will take this free kick just inside. No, in fact, he's going to leave it for Josh Tyman to take. Former Hull and Stoke defender, 25 years old, standing just inside the Sunderland half. Referee blows, he's happy now, and Tyman floats the ball into the penalty area, and Darling gets his head on it. It'll drop behind. It's gone behind for a goal kick. That definitely a goal kick. O'Nien taps it to Patterson. Patterson passes it out to Hume. Hume on the edge of the penalty area across to Mepham. And Mepham closed down by Lewis O'Brien, the Nottingham Forest midfielder. Back to Patterson, out to Mepham again. And a longer ball this time, looking for the run of Isidore. Over the shoulder of Darling. He's on Darling's back, pushes him over. Free kick to Swansea City. I have to say, I'm afraid to say that this second half is pretty much following the pattern of the first, isn't it?
Da, da, da. Hello, folks. Sorting me kids out.
It wasn't a pattern, but it's going nowhere. Key here for Swansea City. And out to the right-hand side. It's just played away from Ronald out for a throw to Sunderland. And O'Nien plays it off the Brazilian for another throw.
You need momentum if you're going to go into the playoffs, aren't you?
Well, they do.
You know, you just look at it, you can't just turn it on just like that. And we're struggling.
Hume with a throw. Rigg hooks it up over the halfway line, over Isidore's head. Drops to Darling. Now Fulton back to Cabango on the touchline in front of Regis Lebris. Down the touchline to Ronald. It's gone out off Hume for a throw to Swansea, which Josh Key takes for Ronald to run on to if he can, but Hume cuts across him.
Chris Minton says, Cabby, does your daughter paint? If so, I'd like to watch the paint dry.
Meander and Lefay, I just get the impression with the vigour which they're putting into the warm-ups.
It's not right, is it? It is not right, really, at all. For the fans who's paid money, for heaven's sake.
Luton 0, Blackburn 1. Luton stay above Plymouth if they lose.
Yep, nothing happening anywhere. Etienne Kingfisher says, come on, guys, give Cabby a like, thank you. Janet, we would all be rich if we could predict the scores. Chris says would rather watch paint dry. Jake, hello Jake, good to see you, mate. What's up, Cabby? How are you doing? I feel sorry for thousands of fans, says John Yule, paying good money to watch this garbage. I know. Just off to the shop to buy a bucket of paint, Chris. Get some tartan one, John, yeah? Do Sunderland fans think they will be promoted? Well, on this performance, no. Not trying to be negative or anything, but the way we're playing, no.
Now, are the two substitutes going to come on in a couple of minutes? Do you think Regis Lebris seemed to indicate that it might be just a couple of minutes and the two of them will come on?
Really.
Ball rolled out to Mepham, who brings us out into midfield. Lewis O'Brien stays with him, of course.
What are the kids going to see? Might be more interesting. They're going to see the new Minecraft movie, Martin. Neil Denbury, good to see you, mate. Nice one, as always, Cabby. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome, mate. Thank you for
nearly caught, and he has been caught by Jones, but the pass
popping
from Neil swept past Isidore, and it's back now with Key on the right for Swansea to Fulton. And he will turn in his own half and just tap it inside to Franco. And the Portuguese, at the back of the centre circle, plays it to Darling. to his left, looks to get it down to Timon on the left touchline, back inside to back to Timon, looking for the run of O'Brien down the left of the penalty area, he crosses, it's cut out in front of Cullen by Luke O'Nien and just not kept in. Throw to Swansea, deep in the Sunderland half on the left-hand side. Now,
we Coventry don't see it happening.
So Mienda and Lefay will be coming on in the next couple of minutes. 0-0 still here at the Stadium
2 seconds.
Live on BBC Radio Newcastle.
Who are they coming on for? Harrison and Isidore, or
interesting.
Watson.
Watson perhaps, and
Harrison,
Jones. Then Mienda will play on the left, and Lefay will play in the 10. Makes sense, doesn't it? The ball played on by Fulton. Runs to Trey Hume, has a word with the assistant. He felt there was something not to his liking further ahead. O'Nien in the centre circle, squares it to Mepham. Mepham on the far side with Brown outside of him. It's played back to Brown behind Mepham. Back to Patterson, being closed down by O'Brien. Gets the ball out to Dan Neal. Shakes off Liam Cullen. Onto Patrick Roberts. He plays it from the centre circle to O'Nien on the left. Back to Roberts, who quickly gets it on to Rigg. And Rigg now inside to Roberts again. Roberts to his right to Alan Brown. Brown in space. Goes to close him down. Brown crosses towards Watson, but Ronald heads it away from Tommy Watson. And then it's nodded on down this right-hand side, and Ronald plays it back up into the Sunderland half. And Patterson's come well out of his penalty area. Taps the ball to Mepham. Onto the halfway line to Dan Neal. And through the middle, Jones trying to get it forwards, but it's intercepted by Franco. Comes back to Cabango, looking for the run of Mepham heads it down behind him into the path of Now to Cullen. O'Brien's making a run through. Cullen goes right though to Ronald. Ronald now towards the edge of the penalty area. O'Brien on the right of the penalty box, trying to get in on his left. Low ball played in, and the clearance by Mepham straight to O'Nien. Fortunately back to Mepham to clear, and now Timon in the middle of the Sunderland half on the left, trying to get away from Roberts in front of him. Back to Darling, still 0-0, 57th minute. Out here on the right, Key, Ronald on the touchline. Watson slides in. Well, he's caught Ronald, but he got the ball first. I think slightly unlucky there, because he got his foot on the ball and Ronald went over him. Morecambe 0, Carlisle 2 in that massive game at the foot of the Football League. So Lefay is nearly ready to come on. Brighton 2, Leicester 1. And did Watson get a yellow card then? I'm not sure.
I don't think he did.
I'm not sure if he did. Referee spoke to him. Ormond Tyson over this free kick. A couple of yards in from touch, about 16 yards from the corner. The two substitutes ready to come on. They won't get on in time to defend the Swansea free kick though. Watson stands alone just outside the penalty area, and it is who curls this in. It's off the bar and it's put in.
It's a goal.
It's a goal, and it's Cabango. I think Patterson's been well and truly Cabango there. The ball came back off the bar. Cabango's header. Patterson on the line tried to save it, but he went back over the line with the ball, scrambled it out, but the ball clearly crossed the line. And in the 58th minute, Swansea have taken the lead.
Yeah, it was a header coming back off the crossbar, and then it's come back to Cabango and he's just hit it straight in. Patterson's tried to keep it out.
Tried to keep it out, but Rigg and Jones are the two players that have come off at the moment of
I
that.
think it was Cabango with the header as well. It was Cabango's header, and then he's put the rebound in. Come back off the bar.
And Patterson on the line trying to keep it out. Cabango then, and in fact it was Darling's first attempt.
Darling's header.
Back off the bar.
And
Cabango followed up with the header that scored.
to be fair, are you surprised?
Not really.
No.
So Swansea, 1 up. Their record here is very good. And they now have something to hold on to.
Oh, dear me.
And here's O'Nien.
So what's happening? Have we let a goal in, have we?
Watson's got caught, but no free kick. Ball back
Oh, for
with
God's sake.
Bigaroo.
Oh, I've missed that. I've missed that.
And,
For God's sake.
we're in the 60th minute, half an hour to play then. Half an hour for Sunderland to turn this around.
What happened, folk? What was the goal like? What was the goal like?
Up front was playing just behind Isidore. Lefay is out
So when I'm
here
playing
on the left
dad
with
duties, you miss
Watson.
these things.
There's a foul on
What was the goal like, folks? Was it like...
the assistant flags, a yellow card for Hume. This is 11th yellow card of the season, not best pleased with it, frustrated, makes his feelings known.
Got to defend this one again.
Another free kick, but wider and further out this time.
Honest to God, they just don't think about the fans at all, do they?
So Ben Kabanga with only a second goal.
John says, bounced off the crossbar and in.
His first away from home is
I'm lost for words, says Trisha.
Poison then again.
Why didn't the fee start? Pat or fault, mate, was it?
Right hand side. Here's curls it in. It's headed back across the penalty area actually. By
My missus
Patrick
giving me
Roberts.
the last
Picked
rights.
up by O'Brien. Down the left in the box. It's played back out to Franco. And,
We're
now
just not
left
bothered, are we?
for Cabango and
Sunderland are
who's gonna
just
try a long
not
range
bothered.
effort.
There, I
This will just
hate to
fall
say them
in
words.
front of Liam Cullen and Patterson, who gets it out quickly to Lefay on this left-hand side, pushes it on past Watson, but out for a throw to Swansea City, who lead the Welsh side 1-0.
Yeah, and you just look in the way that Sunderland have set up now. They've gone 4-4-2. You know, Lefay is alongside Neil. Patrick Roberts is out wide right.
On the right, Watson on the left. Here's O'Brien.
Trevor says he can't stand anymore. He's away. Oh, well, it's a shame you've got to go.
Mepham and O'Nien,
But-
but Sunderland get the ball away. Neil.
My goodness me, it is bad, isn't it? The goal was a miss header onto the bar, came back and was headed in.
Back to
We are rubbish, says Jacqueline Copson. We've been crap for ages, says
free kick.
Stephen.
The referee's going to give yellow card to Fulton for a foul on Neil in the centre circle. A block made by Jay.
Just going through the motions, says James. Man, instead of showing some passion and willingness to fight for our shirt. In fact, most of the 60 years I've been a Sunderland fan.
Albion 2, Watford 0. Game West Brom really need to win. They've lost the last 2, so now in front against Watford, who's probably...
I'm not being harsh by saying the players are just not bothered, because they've done the job. They're fourth off top. They're in the
You have
playoffs.
to say that, Norwich and Watford were in that area where they had to win every game.
But come on, give the fans a bit of hope, a bit of like, you know,
intentions to be involved, I think, have
going
gone.
into the
West
playoffs.
Brom's
Let's
still very
have a
much
bit
in
of
the
confidence
mix.
doing it, you know.
And the ball played out to Roberts.
Kyle says Moore should be on goal.
Cutting
Pato
back
is not
across
good at
now on
all.
his left. It's blocked, forced to Watson. Blocked again, Lefay tackled at the edge of the area. Comes back in off O'Nien and out for a throw.
Rooster says that useless French person needs to start showing some ambition rather than standing there like a Napoleon on the sword.
1-0 still
Paul
Swansea,
Havelock says
64th
it's like we
minute.
don't want promotion. Fell asleep.
BBC Radio
I would drop
Newcastle.
Watson.
Swansea thinking about
He's no
changes,
Sunderland
certainly
fan.
discussion going on down
Paul says exactly.
in front of
Cabby.
the Swansea dugout.
Trisha says I couldn't agree
Back
more.
to Bigaroo. Kicks
Oh dear.
up to the halfway line, headed on by Mepham's got to be mindful that O'Brien's on his shoulder.
I mean, come on,
Patterson, he
Sunderland.
plays it out in the middle.
I mean, surely you want to win every game, didn't you?
Lays it off to Mepham, just at the edge of the area.
Do you for all them hard-earned fans? They've earned the money to go and watch this. Do you know what I mean?
Bringing this into
They're paying to be entertained.
to Lefay, back to O'Nien back again to Enzo Lefebvre
Big
on this
Smoke says
left-hand
championship
side.
again for
Hume is
Sunderland. No
wide.
chance you'll win the
Enzo
playoffs.
Lefebvre closed down by Ronald, who forces Lefebvre to get the ball back to O'Nien. O'Brien closes down. It's back to
Cheers for the
Patterson.
subscriber. Thank you.
Patterson, edge of his D, passes it out to Mepham. Mepham, O'Brien on his shoulder.
David Jackson says,
Wide
like I
again
said, these
to
owners don't
Roberts,
want
who
to
tried
win.
stab it into the path of Meyenda, but it's out for a throw to Sunderland.
Jack says, need to stay professional going into the playoffs. Can't just ride our looks, Cabby. Doug says, it's up to the coach to motivate the players. US says, we always concede the opener instead of slotting it in. Why the hell do we have to have a lot of injuries to all our all-stars? We would do every season though, don't we?
Rolls it out through the middle to Dan Neal. Neal now wide on the left-hand side to Hume. Hume to Watson just in front of him. Back to Hume. Tried to get it on down the left wing to Lefebvre. Put out by Key. Halfway inside.
Rooster says, Cabby, you can't just play like this and go into the playoffs super duper. No, I know what you're coming from.
Millwall 1, Middlesbrough 0.
I just don't know what Regis Lebree's tactics are or what he's thinking. He seems to think we can do that. He seems to think we're just going to turn the switch.
Key to the goal line. The ball surely went over the line. Flag is up. Goal kick. As O'Nien goes to help Key back up on his feet.
James says, not good enough, mate. We should be doing everything we can to win, as it breeds confidence, especially going into the playoffs. What's the point of us being in the playoffs as we're not good enough? The tactics are crap, he says. It's been boring for a long time. Sick of all this side and back passing. Dissident says, think we do, but players rested to be fresh for playoffs. John says, Watson should never be playing, get him off. Kenneth, it's not value for money. Janet says, what on earth has Lebree done? Diane Law says, what the hell is going on with them? They just seem to be sitting on their laurels, bringing on one of my migraines already. Oh, I hope you feel better soon, Diane. The team doesn't help, does it?
Into the penalty area, he goes to the goal line, but it's pulled back. Looking for Isidore. I think the defender pushed it out from the goal line.
Jack says, can understand the odd bad performance, but this has been for weeks now. Paul says, at this rate, Cabby, we won't last long in the championship. No hope, no ambition. Come on, lad, says Janet. Steve says, teams 5th and 6th will be based on form because of it being so close, so it worries me watching us play recently. Jack says, away. Top or bottom of it's like team depth for me. And Paul Robson says, it's a bit arrogant from the player like this. We will go into the playoffs with no momentum or coherence. To be honest, reckon Lebree will be off at the end of the season, even if we go up. Well, there we go.
Replaces him. He comes on, and the other player coming off is Fulton. Was one of the two changes.
Don't forget, if you're new, hit that like button, please, and hit the subscribe button if you're new. Thanks.
Fulton, 31 years old now. He comes off. And Ollie Cooper, Welsh international, been with the club since he was.
Can we excuse Sunderland's performance today because of the fact, like, they're treating it as just a bit of a kickabout because we're in the playoffs? Is that what people are going to say?
With Swansea leading 1-0. Meyenda on the right side of the Swansea penalty area. Two players either side of him from Swansea and White. Timon gets the ball away.
Mark Jenkins on social media says, this is the slowest and most boring football I've seen, and it's been this way for weeks. He says, no risks, too many sideways and slow passes. We seem to slowly work the ball up the pitch, then expect to get through 10 players who have had time to get set back and reset and defend, basically. If Swansea win, I'll subscribe, so it's a win for you. Cheers, Zach.
O'Nien lobs it to him, and Hume will take the throw halfway inside his own half to Lefebvre.
Tricia says Regis Lebree needs to sod off back home.
What a ball he's played across to Patrick Roberts.
Tricia says absolutely not, Cabby. It's abysmal.
Timon in front of him. Roberts goes while he crashes into Timon. The ball breaks though still for Sunderland.
Lefebvre, Meyenda and Isidore are our best hopes to equalise.
Timon's in front of him again. Roberts cutting across the back of the penalty area. Still going. It's tapped out to Lefebvre. Lefebvre into Meyenda. What a pass into the penalty area. And then it's put behind for a corner. Unlucky.
Winning is habit, low mate, and we've lost the habit, says NM. James, no excuses, mate. We should be going out to win every game. I know what you're saying, mate. I'm not excusing them, says Doug. King says they want us. They want out use us as a springboard. Maverick says, I think that'll be commentary Sunderland securing a playoff spots and all that. This is not our manager players though, says Kyle.
By Cabango from Chris Mepham, and out eventually for a throw to Sunderland on the left-hand side, yards from the corner. Taken by Alan Brown to Watson to cross, and then a flick of the head from Trey Hume. The 6-yard line has taken it to Vigouroux.
John says there's only one man to blame for another very performance, is the manager. It's a long way to Swansea for our fans for a kickabout.
All in yellow,
Of course it is, John.
Portsmouth 0, Derby 1. Derby.
Manager should be able to wait to find motivate players to win a game.
Outside the bottom 3 on goal.
Crackers, innit?
Oh, now players gone down here. Vipopnik in the Sunderland penalty area. The referee says no penalty.
Luke O'Nine's a lucky person.
Luke O'Nine who made the challenge.
Isidore should be on the wing and nowhere near the penalty box, says Steve. Well, he's not a striker, that's the thing, isn't it?
But there was contact.
Yeah, he was away.
I wonder if the referee felt perhaps he'd lost control of the ball, but it's very definitely, it was actually on the edge of the penalty area. Right on the edge, but even so, there was a little...
Cheers, Kingfisher.
Just got to be aware of that.
I wonder if the referee just thought the ball was not within...
Well, people say you can't just turn on your performance just like that for the playoffs, but it seems to be the way. That's what we're looking at doing, doesn't it?
Here's O'Nien. Forwards to Lefay, who gets a real nudge in the back from Ronald. Gets the ball back. Lefay from O'Nien. Neil.
That seems like exactly what we are doing.
To Mepham, looking to play it over the top for Isidore to chase. But back to Lawrence Vigouroux, the Swansea goalkeeper. Away from home this season, Swansea won 5 games, they've drawn 4.
Regis Labrie there, he's just looking motionless on the touchlines. Paul says, just hope now we wake up and grab a win, because this is another poor performance. It's terrible.
Wilson Isidore, and he looks frustrated.
He's not on a good run, is he, at the minute? He's having a frustrating time. Tries to head the ball over Cabango. Drops here for...
We've managed to turn off our performances, says Stephen. I know. Could be that the players don't buy into the manager like always. Says Kyle.
On this right side, running at the corner of the penalty area. Slips the ball into the box, but it runs out over the goal line.
So how many games has it now gone for Isidore without a goal?
Second minute. Sunderland 0, Swansea City 1. A fly has died in my tea. Do you know, that probably sums up the afternoon, doesn't it?
How did he get there?
I don't know.
Applying your tea.
Probably died of boredom, I suspect, and just dropped in. On the halfway line, Roberts.
Drop Pato next match, bring in Simon Moore. Doug says if we tie it up, I'll treat my wife to a McDonald's. I thought you said I'm going to tie the wife up and then go to McDonald's. Are the players missing Dodds? What do others think? I've said this before, James, and there's a few fans. We've just not been the same since he left.
Tried a little dummy. Tony's worked it well. He's got it out to Watson, but across comes...
Trisha says, does Regis Labrie realise that we needed to win games to go up? I'm beginning to wonder. Yeah, Kyle, I think it was a mistake getting rid of Dodds, to be honest with you.
73rd minute. The under-21s are on the bench for Sunderland this afternoon, having a little run out down the touchline. Lavery, Bainbridge, Anderson.
I mean, even now we're 1-0 down. There's no urgency going forward.
On the left for Swansea, back on halfway with Orm now.
We're trotting forward, we're not sprinting forward.
The middle of the centre circle, rolls it to Key wide to Ronald. Ronald now, the Brazilian running at Hume just in front.
It's like we're playing with our slippers on.
Key.
Carpet slippers in a pipe. That's what it feels like today.
Villa 1.
Come on, lads, get into gear. I don't even...
He's pulling Lefay down. Now that's a yellow card.
He's a lucky man.
He is very lucky. Because Lefay would have been away. But he's quite...
Isidore.
Sorry, Isidore would have been away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Isidore, wasn't it? I thought for it was... I was looking at the right the bandage around the wrist as he broke.
Thing is, though, Swansea are terrible. Not being disrespectful to any Swansea fans, but both teams are just as bad as each other today.
He should all be very frustrated by that.
That was a terrible tackle by Cabango. Internet well ahead on these games into the 80th minute. I know. As long as there's no spoilers in the chat. 9 games is it, Ian? Blummin' heck.
Get it in the box again. It's headed out. Headed in again by Neil. Cabango heads it back to the goalkeeper. Hume was lurking. But Vigouroux's got it now. There's going to be another change. Salis and Alexis.
Zach Nugent, oi, how are you doing?
Derby 2. So Salis
see you later, son. Be good.
Will come on. Alexis will come on.
Under the close.
Who will go on?
Neil, we're still in the playoffs, yeah, of course we are. That's the problem. Do you know what I mean?
Either Watson or Isidore.
Okay.
Can't wait to hear what Davey has to say on Monday. I better get my E defenders out the box.
Comes back to
I'm telling you.
O'Nien, who plays it back now to Patterson. Passes it out past Vipopnik to Mepham to O'Nien.
Massively, Paul.
To Lefay. Oh, he's caught in the middle by Franco. Free kick to Sunderland. Changes have been made. Watson now coming off for
MX says, guess what, boys? You having ravioli on toast for your tea, MX? Is that's what you're going to say?
Watson, there's a few boos, but mainly applause. And Salis will come on now for, as you said.
You're from Swansea. Good to see you, MX. Welcome in the chat, mate.
So 4 changes made. Neil shakes Regis Lebris's hand. Salis comes on. Gets some much needed minutes. We're in the 76th minute. But critically, Sunderland still trailing 1-0. Here's Lefay. He's out on the left with Hume on the halfway line. Ronald on his shoulder. Plays it all the way back, Hume to Patterson.
Don't forget, if you're new, hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers. Thank you. About time we take Watson off. You should never be playing, man.
Salis and now O'Nien. Brighton 2, Leicester 2.
Get Pato on a diet, says Michael. All the fans in the ground deserve a medal, says Dougie.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Oxford 1. And the ball now with Mepham. Out wide to Brown. Brown on the right touchline. He's got to get past Om. He's got Roberts behind him. Om makes a block. Ball goes out, comes off a Sunderland man.
Are Middlesbrough still losing? Does anybody know that scoreline?
Deep in the Swansea half.
Alex says, hi, we're from Swansea. Sharon, Alex Riley, you good pal. Welcome on board, Alex. Simon Moore needs to be selected next game. Not going to do any harm, is it?
78th minute. Sunderland trailing to that 58th minute. Ben Cabango.
I'd love to know what Regis Bree's going to see at full time if it stays 1-0 down. Oh, we will learn. We will learn from. We will learn from this.
A foot out from Om, but it's won by Lefay. Lefay now over the halfway line, checks himself and then slips it on to Mienda on the right at central midfield. Out wide to Roberts, who's run onto it. He's got to come in past Timon. He's got it on his right. He crosses. Up goes. Well, Alexic tried to get on the end of it with his head.
They're still 1-0 down.
For Hume and a low daisy cutter really straight at Vigouroux.
Again, Lefay, excellent.
He starts it off.
Fans are leaving already.
Things up.
78 minutes gone at my end.
Vigouroux.
Is that another goal for Swansea with Samed on? What's a crack with the Borough? Reckon they will make the playoffs. Well, today'll be a bad result for them if that stays the same.
Kicks over the halfway line.
Millwall doing a lot of damage to the top teams. Of course, they beat Sheffield United.
Darling sweeps it down the right wing over Hume's shoulder. He slips it into O'Nien, and O'Nien away from Vipopnik.
He is still getting paid, Edna.
Now Salis, and Salis is under pressure here from Franco, forced right out to the touchline on the left. Plays it back to O'Nien, out to Lefay. It's, as we were saying earlier, West Brom 2, Watford 1. Sissoko scored, the former Newcastle midfielder. That goal pulled back for Watford. Here on the halfway line is Roberts. He's trying to break now through midfield. He's gone round one challenge. He's still going. Goes round the back of Franco. Rolls the ball now to Alexis in the penalty area. Dinks the ball in. It's headed out, and it's going to be hooked in the air at the edge of the D. And with his eye on it was Alexic. It's come back out down to Hume, and now Lefay back to Salis, looking for Roberts in the middle. Back
surely we're not this bad.
Salis,
surely.
now down the left wing to Milan Alexic. He's taken on Key, slips it inside to Hume, then Lefay, but it's cleared by O'Brien, and Aston Villa lead 2-0 at Southampton. And Swansea about to make another double switch. Joe Allen, the experienced midfielder, is going to come on. That's one of them. And the other is Florian Bianchini, the French striker. Salis gets a break through the middle.
Oh, he's
Salis
got up then the goalkeeper.
He's got Mienda on the right of the penalty area. Mienda into the penalty area. Still going, gets it on his left, pulls it back to Salis. Salis now to Hume. Hume to Alexic, who tried to pass it into the penalty area, but passed it straight to O'Brien. Vipotnik trying to get on the end.
It's just flat every single time we're going forward, isn't it? Hello, carry on. How you doing? Welcome to the channel, mate. Lefay only looks a bright spot. Yeah, he does. He looks the only bright spot.
To the box onto his left foot, 18-yard line, shoots, it's blocked, and now it comes back out to the edge of the area and cleared by Swansea.
He's gone down again,
and the keeper's gone down, as you say, again. Vigouroux.
Well done, referee.
Referee's told him to get up.
Get up. That's well done, ref.
He's wily enough to know what's
Millwall's
going
level on points with Barrett and the Baggies. That's nuts, that, like. Liberty, it's a process. We will learn from this scenario. Susie says, how many hours of our lives do we have to watch for our beloved Sunderland?
That's good refereeing now.
Neil says, we need Barrett and Sunderland back in the Prem. Well, on this performance, I think we're going to wait another season.
He's got Brown out to the right of him. He rolls it to Alan Brown. Alan Brown crosses onto the head of Timon. Back out to the left, headed on by up to Vipotnik, and he plays it back into the penalty, straight to Mienda. Mienda on his left, he's blocked, comes back out to Hume, can't dig it out with his left, finds Alexic on the left-hand side. Alexic trying to get in, can't, and finds Salis behind him. Salis now to Mepham. Vipotnik tried to tackle him. Lefay trying to get the ball back, but O'Brien's beaten to it. And now one back by Sunderland. Salis, Lefay, and he's brought down on the edge of the D. And Salis just pushes Franco over. They face up to each other, and the referee, well, it's got a bit tasty, because Salis and Franco are both pushing and shoving each other. The referee almost got caught in the middle of it at one stage, but he's calmed it down now, and there will be a free kick at the edge of the D. Well, that's the first sign of sort of passion we've seen in the game, I think.
A fire in the belly, huh?
A little bit.
So I've just blocked Kyle. I don't think we've even scored. But just when people come up at you, just goal.
Referee,
see you later.
The referee's done well.
Farai Hallam, he's marching back 10 yards. Lefay, Roberts over the free kick. Swansea leading 1-0. We're in the 83rd minute. Substitutes waiting to come on still. Don't think he's taken any further action over that little scrap between Franco and Salis. But both Lefay and Roberts will fancy themselves with this. It's at a nice distance, probably 23, 24 yards out. They've got a
Thanks for the 4 subscribers. Thank you.
Behind the 5-man wall, Hume standing in front of them. And so Lefay, is it? Or will it be Roberts? Lefay with his right crashes into the wall, comes back down to Lefay. Lefay takes it back onto his left foot, corner of the penalty area, out wide to Alexic. He plays it into the middle. Hume just lays it off behind him to Salis, and Salis, it's a wayward ball, and O'Nien, despite his best efforts, is sprinting to the far side, can't keep it in.
No passion whatsoever at all, James, is there? Oh, my dear me, what to do, says Janet. Well, it's Susie, they just...
So the 35-year-old.
There's no goals being scored, but if people come on and just spam the chat, I just delete them and ban them. It's as simple as that.
Apparently he was outstanding in the week against.
You can either join in and have a good laugh and join in with the banter, or just be
Sheffield United
the sausage.
in the lunchtime kickoff. And the other change will be Ronald, being replaced by Bianchini. So the Frenchman replaces a Brazilian, and we're about to see a Norwegian replace who? Brown, an Irishman.
Hey, dear me.
So we'll see Hume revert to right back. Kjelder will play out the game on the left.
It looks like that's what we're doing it though. That looks like what Sunderland are doing. They're just taking the foot off the gas because they're in the playoffs. I know you shouldn't do it, but it's pretty damn obvious what they're doing in it. That terrible game at Carrow Road. We got the point. We've consolidated into the
Kjelder gets his first touch back to Patterson at the edge of his D. O'Nien picks up the ball
in the playoffs, and we're just going through the motions. Rusty Mackham, good to see you, Rusty, in Gran Canaria. Utter bills. I think I've given up on them. They won't get together playoffs final like this. Disgraceful. He says no effort at all. Well said, Cabby, said James. Maverick Loggins, £5 donation to the channel. Thank you very, very much, mate. That means a hell of a lot to me. That's cheered me up a little bit. Thank you, Maverick, for that.
2,362 is the attendance.
So very kind from Maverick there. Thanks, mate. Zach says, reckon any Swansea players get into Sunderland starting 11? Not too sure, you know. No chance of a goal now, only 5 minutes left, says USM. Russell Clark says, thanks for your efforts today, Cab. Had enough. I know. Look, thanks for the 320 odd people still tuning in.
Alexis down in the corner wins a throw. And I'm told now Eddie Howe apparently is going to miss Newcastle's Premier League game against Manchester United tomorrow due to illness. He was admitted to hospital late on Friday evening, having felt unwell for a number of days, and medical staff have kept Eddie Howe in hospital overnight for further tests, which are ongoing. He is conscious, he's talking with his family, and is continuing to receive expert medical care. And of course, everyone at Newcastle United extends their best wishes to Eddie for a speedy recovery. There will be updates in due course. As the ball played in to the penalty area, and Isidore's header is tipped over the crossbar by Vigouroux for Sunderland's third corner of the game. Harrogate 1, Grimsby 2. So there may well be more of that news of Eddie Howe following this game. The phone in, of course, with Benno and Colin.
Fernie says, a win today would have put you 4 points behind Sheffield United, and they still have Burnley to play. Yeah, maybe you should give them pass them a note before the game, Fernie. Yeah.
A lot of empty seats. We're in the 88th minute.
Abysmal, says Janet. Yeah, thanks, Cabarino. I have enjoyed the company, says Martin. Well, thanks for popping in. Everybody's welcome, mate. How on earth have we gone from playing attractive football to this pathetic performance, says John. Susie says, cheers, Cabby. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you. You too, Susie. It's nothing but good vibes on this chat, isn't it? It's fantastic. Howe must have sat on the Haribo Cup, says Devon.
And here he is in charge again with Swansea leading 1-0.
Packer says, right, I'm off getting sick of this. See you next one. Don't forget I'm streaming tonight. I will have a look. I'll pop in, Packer. Thanks, mate. Catch you later, Stephen. It doesn't make sense, does it, John?
Free kick.
Says Tricia.
Bounces through down the left of midfield in the Sunderland half. It's hooked by Hume down that right touchline and out for a Sunderland throw. Sunderland 0, Swansea 1. We're in the 89th minute.
If nothing else, nice to spend the morning with friends. It is, Doug. And we're all a nice friendly unit on here, so you're welcome, Janet.
And now Lefay tapping it on to Alexic, wide on the left to Kjelder. He gets round Key, who tried to block him, but his pass looking for Mienda was cut out at the edge of the penalty area. And now Key has won a throw off.
That's Good Friday next week, Dougie, is it?
waiting to take this throw for
I hate these bank holidays and that.
Swansea City lead 1-0.
Stephen Jones, take care, mate.
Going into the last minute.
Durham says, thanks. Right, that's me done with Sunderland for the day. Cheers for spoiling my weekend. Cheers, Cabbie. I do apologise, Durham. Stephen Martin says, I'm off. Well, see you next game. Catch you later, Stephen.
To MACKEM. Cooper goes to close him down. On into the centre circle. Eventually out to Hume on the right-hand side. Hume on halfway. Back to MACKEM. MACKEM on to Salis. Salis back to MACKEM. And to the left again here to O'Nien. O'Nien finds Hjelde wide on the left, halfway inside the Swansea half. Lefay to Alexic.
Tricia says it's one of my highlights of the week, being amongst the Black Cats.
MACKEM goes through the middle, still going. Cooper tried to tackle him.
That's a penalty.
Is that a penalty?
That's a penalty.
The referee's taking a long look at it.
And he's given a goal kick.
And he's given the goal kick.
God's sake, man.
Oh, I'd like to see that one again.
Well, we should get a replay.
To be fair, even Mayenda hasn't even.
He hasn't made much of a big deal about it, has
he hasn't. No.
He's played into it
Mayenda or Salis?
He went down very easily.
I know, Darren, I know.
No, Salis is running back in. It was Mayenda. There'll be 4 minutes.
Mayenda.
Yeah, it was not much contact from Om, and Om, I think quite rightly, I mean, Mayenda seemed to go down a bit too easily. Again, had he lost control of the ball as well. We're into the first of those 4 minutes now. And Sunderland desperately searching for an equaliser and winning a free kick in their own half.
I think Nick Barnes, they can play for another 90 minutes, they're not going to get anything. Diane says, shocking display going now. I know, it's awful.
To Hume.
I'm looking at this on the replay here.
Down the touchline to Roberts on the halfway line now.
It was a good decision by the referee, he wasn't touched.
The middle for Isidore, who heads it back straight into the path of Joe Allen. It's lost again, and Hjelde's run onto it. And this time Bianchini's trying to get on the end of it, but here's Lefay. And that's Lefay just outside the penalty area. In now to Hjelde, who slips in the box. Definitely no penalty there. And it's played out by Swansea. And it's now Portsmouth 2, Derby 2, and a foul on Vipotnik by Salis. A free kick wide on the right in their own half to Swansea.
Well, thanks for everybody in the chat and who's
I fear most Sunderland fans
putting up with this. USM's arrears Swansea goal. 4 minutes to get a point.
Running out here for Sunderland. In the second minute of the 4 being added on, Vigouroux with his free kick. The goalkeeper.
And listen how quiet it is at the stadium, I like. It's noisier in the chat room, isn't it?
They got Swansea of not having lost on Wearside since 2012. Looks set to continue. A foul on Cooper.
Well, house was broken into, car stole, and now Sunderland player like this. I give in for this weekend. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ryan, mate. Hope it picks up for you, fella. There's some idiots about, isn't there?
And in front of the dugout, there's going to be another change made. Kyle Norton, the defender, is going to come on, and he will replace Om. So Norton.
I just want to know what Regis Lebrie's going to have to say with this.
It's strange because all this tends to do is get a further 30 seconds added on.
I'll be doing a review after this as well, and be putting the player ratings on the bottom. It's going to be interesting if anybody scores above 3.
Norton's coming on now. We're in the 93rd minute. Sunderland 0, Swansea City 1. It's not been a good game. Very, very poor first half. It wasn't much better than second half.
That's putting it nicely.
Cabango, who scored the only goal. And the referee's seen something. Free kick.
I'm off to Bristol City next week, looking like a serious error of judgment. Not a chance in hell is a goal coming Sunderland's way. Absolutely pathetic, says US. Brian Lawson says, club have no ambition to get the Premier League. Happy to make money selling players. It's looking that way, doesn't it, Brian? He will say exactly the same as he always does, says Tricia.
An attempt to get the ball off him, but he's got it back again now from O'Nien. Patrick Roberts out wide to Hjelde on the left-hand side. We're in the last minute of the 4 being added on. Lefay down the left of the penalty area, gets a cross in, and it's put behind. Is it? It's bounced out for a throw. Corner is being given as a corner.
You're welcome, Mark, mate. Is Samed just a really bad joke? It looks like Rusty. Not much to review, Cabbie. Sack Lebrie before the playoffs. He has no
Anthony
fire or
Patterson.
passion.
Salis has stayed back. Anthony Patterson's up in the goal in the penalty area, and Lefay with this corner from the left-hand side with his right foot, and it's headed out to Salis in midfield. Patterson stays up. Salis has put the ball out wide on the left-hand side. It's headed away though, cut out.
Just blow the full-time whistle, Sunderland. Seriously, I've had enough. Tony O'Reilly, thanks, Cabbie. You're welcome, mate. Save me a dollar, don't have to buy that coffee now, says Doug.
Brought down by Hume.
Chris Minton says, thanks for the stream and your comments and reactions. Have a good weekend. You too, Chris. You're welcome, Tony O'Reilly.
Bianchini into the penalty area on the left. He tries a right foot shot.
Recorded on Earth. Thanks for the live stream. You're very welcome. And that's full time, and that is just
Swansea
awful.
win 1-0.
That is disgusting. John Yule says, super Sunderland.
Never ever got going.
Does it again. Every poor performance feels sorry for the supporters.
Second half, they came just as
Well, that was just awful. I mean, there's no excuse for that for the fans. I mean, heaven's sake, that's just disgusting.
Swansea getting that lead when they did.
Here's the sub. Cheers, Zach.
Something to hang on to.
dig
And they
it,
did
dig
that
it.
with relative ease, actually.
Yeah, they have
Oh
making
man,
a
thanks
big
for the subscriber anyway.
Reggie LeBreeze will have to do, and the coaching staff will just have a look at it, you know, because
Well,
what they're trying to do isn't working, is it?
what they're trying to do is they're on purposely taking the foot off the gas.
Okay, you want to rest players, that's fair enough. You can
They're resting
understand
themselves for the playoffs,
But
and it's
you've got
people
to
say
the
you
last
can't do that, but that's what they're doing.
have been well below par. Now,
Itchu says, someone come and meet me at Heaven Foods, Pally, and see what happens to you.
we started with Roberts today.
I don't know what you mean, mate.
Back
Thanks for the
there
stream,
and,
says Devon. You're welcome.
get hold of the game, and then if anything after that, then what you can do is take them off. You know, you give them an hour or a good 70 minutes.
Bye bye, Ertu, you nutter.
Because you've got to say,
You're spamming the chat. See you later.
we never ever got going.
You're welcome, Geordie Groundwater. Thank you. Results tragic. It's awful. Recorded on Earth says, put the vodka down. Well, all I can say is thanks everybody for tuning in. Cheers, Cabbie. Shame we playing like a dog and duck. Yeah, I know, like a dog and duck, says Richie. Big up Stuart and all, says Fernie. See you on Friday. Oxford away, 8 PM kick-off. And not my turn to drive. Well, you enjoy yourself, Fernie. Cheers for popping into the channel, mate, as always. Dougie Stewart, thanks, says Dougie. Ryan Jones says as well, I'm off. Huskies, pups to walk. Thanks again, Cabbie. You welcome.
Do you risk play? Well, again, you know.
Yes, Pet.
We're talking about that risk factor, but we also got to look
Oh,
at
dear.
all of a sudden, confidence-wise, performance-wise, it's been poor. You know, you're not going to all of a sudden come into a playoff game, put your best players in.
I'm coming. Right, I'm going to take my daughter to the toilet. She wants to go, and that's the highlight of the match, I think. So, love yous all. We'll catch yous for the review later.